Welcome back to my study review of Chapter 9 in 308 Mathematics for Houston Community College, and I'm going in depth on some of the operations that are used in algebraic expressions. Now, we've got addition and subtraction, and where we add and subtract different numbers together. Now, sometimes we're given numbers that are called negative, meaning that it's an imaginary placeholder to establish something that's not there. So if we have a -2, we put that negative sign in front of the 1 to establish that it is a negative integer. And now there is a sign that I would like to bring up whenever I'm driving to school every day over 59. I don't know if it's like a recruiting company or it's a college company, but it says our accountants add, not subtract. So if you think about basic mathematics, there really indefinitely is no subtraction. We're basically adding all digits together, whether or not they be negative integers, placeholding for the number to be added to another number. So I built this little chart here to show you how we add numbers together. So if we have a positive number in here and a positive number in here, and we add those two numbers together, we are going to get a positive number result. Obviously, we're adding two positives together. Now, if we have a positive number and we're adding it to a negative number, we are going to subtract the difference and keep the symbol of the greater integer, but it had the sign. So if it had a negative, like if this number here was greater, you would keep the sign into your answer. So you're going to subtract these two numbers, keep the sign, and that means that we are adding these two numbers together. So you're keeping the sign of whichever one was the greater, the positive or the negative number. Now, if we are adding two negative numbers together, of course, all you have to do is just basically add these two numbers together and keep the negative sign, because we are adding two negative numbers together. If you've got a negative number, you're going deeper into the hole, obviously. If you have a -2 and you have a -2, we're adding those two negatives together then to give us a -4. So basically here, you keep the sign of the greater sign for either the positive or the negative after you get the difference of the two numbers. So, and like these two, you just add them together here. We are adding a positive and a negative together, but since I don't know which is which, we are going to subtract the two and keep the sign of the number that has the greatest amount. So whether if this was like a -20 and this was a 2, you would keep the sign of this one. Or if this was 20 and this was your -2, then of course you would keep the sign of the positive integer. So that is how we find out the addition of these numbers and the operation within in regards to addition.